It's been over 2 months without a Greenville update. I know, we were all update deprived. But there seems to be a turning point in updates. Now that this update has been pushed out, updates are supposed to go back to being consistent like early 2021 perhaps. No specific schedule though. Nonetheless, Greenville update 1.25 is now out and I'm here to show you it. First and foremost, autumn has arrived, or fall has fallen. Yeah. That sounds better. With this season change comes not only the usual grass/tree switch up, but also a new skybox and the dynamic Roblox clouds, the first step towards weather in Greenville. Honestly switches up the whole look of the game. It's pretty sweet. Presumably you'll never see another day again exactly the same as the last in terms of weather, unlike before. Sit back and enjoy the leaves and grass changing colors and the sky becoming completely different. First new feature to talk about, a big one, is the new vehicle gauges. Ever since the revamped release, there's been 2 gauge styles. You can get the advanced gauge styles like this, which most people use, or you can get the standard gauge style off to the side, which is a bit more simplified. However, now there's a new really high-tech gauge design, which is called dynamic in setting. Hop back in and you'll see them applied to your vehicle. Just take a look at them. They're completely different. There's a bunch of different settings you can have. They're like the most customizable gauges ever. I'm not actually fully in depth check these things out. I've just kind of seen them on and off. Start it up and it does a little bit of a sequence. A car also appears in the middle. It actually like has an animation coming in. Then the boost gauge. Finally, we have a boost gauge on the right here. This part, this little sliver. And it'll tell you the very specific RPM you're at. It's kind of satisfying seeing it go up so quickly. No longer is it just a needle on the gauge to tell you what it is. Same goes for your speed. It's kind of satisfying how the gauges work, honestly. Whenever you change transmission mode, it'll say turn off traction control, that shows up. ABS, and if I had A, B, it would show up right there. Headlights, let's turn that on. And then there's a couple different settings you have here. I don't really know what all these settings do. I haven't really messed with the buttons too much yet. Oh, it gives you options. Okay, that's really cool. I didn't know it was like that. I have to keep it on. Oh, what? I didn't even know you could do that. It has the actual map here on your gauges. You can see the time changing as you go. Also, there's way more trees down here. Wow. This place feels a lot nicer too. They didn't even change anything besides just trees. Let's hit these next buttons here. What does this do? It gets rid of the gas gauge and it gets rid of the boost gauge. Alright, and then put it back. So this is like really tiny. And then press it again, I think it goes back to normal. Yep. Press this, so then it becomes really small if you really want that. It doesn't save if you get it out of the vehicle, but you can obviously really quickly just change it back to how it was. You can change the center, you can change the size of it, you can change where everything is positioned. And even just like the way the whole thing looks, it's super satisfying. So that's the gauges. Some other cool things with the gauges, if you have this screen enabled, and you go near another car, it'll show up right there. There's where the blind spot monitoring thing is. Then if we go to do A, B, it'll show up in front of you as well. At least you know the A, B works now. And then also, if you pop a tire, which I'll demonstrate right here, it'll show up. shows up red on the preview. Now for my favorite part of this update, which is kind of hard to say because there's so many cool things in this update genuinely, but this is just top notch. It's the refurbished USPS area. Before, this place was just so empty. There wasn't really much to do around here. There were a couple houses and the USPS building, but the USPS building has been moved down and a bunch of stuff has been added. It's sort of like an industrial area, I guess. It's just a completely different feel from the rest of the game, honestly. There's no new buildings you can go into here. The USPS building is the only one down here that has an interior currently. The rest are prop buildings, but it just really makes this place look super, super cool. This is a great photo shoot spot. Good backdrop for photos. And then in addition to that, you have the color palette with the new reflections of clouds you have on the vehicles, the background with the new trees, the grass color, just everything comes together, just ties together super nicely. This place is like the new photo spot. You gotta have a photo down here. I truly hope I see people driving over here in RP servers. To you people, I know you're watching this, that just drive up and down the main road in RP servers and you go nowhere else. Please go down here. Like, make this place feel alive in RP servers. We've got to actually make use of this area because it's just too nice to waste. That's what happens to every other part of the game. People only go up and down the main road. Come on, you even have a new gas station. There's another Cinex right here. You can fill up if you need to. Like, look at this. There's even a prop car here. We got this, that's an Ultima driver for sure. But yeah, here's the new Cinex. There's a second one really not that far from the other one. The other one's just barely down the road there. But you can fill up here as well. So you got two options for Cinex. New asphalt textures too, by the way. The leaves are falling from these trees here. Just, man, every single place here, you've got a great spot for photos. I mean, you can go Cinex, you can go to that building across the street, the train tracks. Let's look at the prices real quick. Let's see what we got. Unleaded is $405. E85 is $416 and diesel is $435. Could be worse, I guess. But in reality, the prices are the exact same. It's $4 per gallon. This is here in real life too. So they didn't just put some random second Cinex here for no reason. This whole place is based off the real life location, which is so nicely done. The USPS parking lot I think has been slightly redone. It's not completely different. The building itself I believe is identical to how it was. It was already redone. There's nothing new that needed to be done with this. People should really come here, by the way. Get the CRV parked here. Up front though, we've got this drain, a little bit of water running through here. This was not here before. This leads to over here. Look at this. This is here in real life too, although a little bit smaller. In real life, it's kind of like a mucky stream ditch thing going along the side of the road, but they've glorified it here in game. Got the drain running all the water down here. This road here now is kind of a bridge now, goes over the water. All the trolls can hide under here. Then the water ends right over there, keeps going and ends right over there. There's also new houses here. There's been a couple removed and a bunch of them added. Even more houses to choose from. Also, the graveyard has been moved slightly over, I think, but there's nothing too different about it in itself, except I think there is one new thing. Oh, right here. All the buildings around here now, the new clouds, just everything ties together so well. That's what makes this area so incredibly nice, and just this update in general. I've got to say this is one of my favorites in a long time. It's got to take some sort of top spot. There is a lot of cool things. Even the train tracks. Over here you get this building. Great place for like some sort of industrial work. I might need to move the construction RPs over here, like our main base. This would be a pretty cool area. And then across the street from it, you get that prop building that I was talking about. That was great for photos. That's called the Greenville Station in real life, it seems. Over here across the street, yet another prop building. The train tracks are even new. These are not the same train tracks that used to be here. It's kind of a new layout. All of this back here. Then the other gas station. Let's see, does this one work too? Ooh, it does. Okay. So you've got a lot more options for fueling up around here. Like, come on, please, come over here. Come to this side of the map. You've got everything you possibly could need. You've got houses, you got 2 gas stations. What more do you need? Please, just RP over here, come on. And it's really not even that far off the main road. Then even this back road here, I mean, it's just been turned up a couple million notches. It looks so much better. It was pretty plain down here. There were like 2 houses off to the side. I don't know if those are still here. I think they're removed. There's even that bridge over there that goes over the water and into the farm. Quite steep. Oh, come on. All right, 2,500 can do it. Let's go. And then you're here at the farm. Also, the particles for the fields are back. It's how it was in GV3 and everything. Get the water tower all the way down there. I mean, it's just a really nice area down here. You can ramp this too, by the way, if you get enough speed. Especially in the new Raptor. That thing has insane suspension. And then something kind of cool is down here, kind of toward the end of this back road, power lines are falling down. That is definitely a hazard. The water keeps going along here. The ditch just gets further down. Imagine just working on the farm and then you accidentally fall straight off of this. But yeah, the farm itself doesn't seem to have changed very much at all. Even the road textures look slightly worn down. More trees were added over here. The road curves a lot smoother. And the power lines weren't here either before. And that's really the end of the new area changes, except for one last thing. I didn't turn down a certain road on this back road here, and that would be this road right here. It's a gravel road, and then there's a sign right here. Rusty Gus's Junkyard. One-stop shop for all of your junkyard needs. And then an arrow. Let's keep going down this gravel road, kicking up some dirt behind the truck, and right here leads you to Rusty Gus's Junkyard. I suggested the junkyard to Hunter a couple months ago, or like a month ago or something, and he put it in the game. I suggested the name too, and that's here. We got Rusty Gus's Junkyard. I think it really fits over here. In real life, there's an excavating place here, but we got the junkyard in game, which I'm not complaining about. You got this little shack here for Rusty Gus to hang out in, you know, Rusty Gus himself. He's got this piece of junk laptop to work on, and this singular light. We've got 3 Mustangs here, mint condition Mustangs. You can see down there this rusted out hunks of junk. That's what this place is for. The train tracks are going through the junkyard. Got fencing surrounding, you know, most of it. Also, you can see the lake from the junkyard. That's interesting. I didn't know how close of proximity this was. They're really filling in all the empty parts of the map with stuff to go visit now. A pile of rocks over here. Huge rock. There's no junk around here, but the junk where you actually want to go see is down here. So you drive down here into like the pit, and here's where you'll find all of your hunks of junk. This also serves as kind of a good off-road park-ish. I mean, it's the closest thing we have. We've got this Intrepid here. This thing is just completely junked. I mean, look at this. This wheel is not looking too good, or this wheel. I mean, it's just a normal beater trim, but even more beaterified. It's completely covered in mud. Like, this thing hasn't been washed in 100 years. It looks like it's literally been parked here for the entire time it's existed. It's also completely rusted out. They probably salt the junkyard. Basically, you know, a brand new Cadillac. And there's a little figure right here. Ooh! Aw, man. Rusted out Mustang. We got a toilet. It's a rusty toilet right there. Literally just a fallen down windmill. It's completely rusted out as well. Might need to come here and pick up some stuff. Probably pretty cheap. Might have to go ask Rusty Gus. Got this RX-8 here. This thing's blown up, you already know. Also covered in mud. All these vehicles are. The Jetta has a spare in the front. Another Mustang. A Malibu. The Rendezvous. Hood's completely rusted out. And the mirrors. Oh wait, I think the Malibu and this thing might be able to actually drive out of here. Who knows? This thing definitely won't drive out of here. The wheel is literally just on the ground. And there's a speed limit sign. Somebody probably stole that. And this unreleased Saturn is also in the junkyard. More random rusted out hunks of junk. Ooh! Fuel pump. There might be fuel in here. That's probably pretty expensive. I might need to... That's Rusty Gus's junkyard. I've already got so many roleplay ideas for this place. Let's take this thing off-roading. How does it do in the Rusty Gus's junkyard? Oh! And I popped my tire. Rusty Gus junkyard for the win. Defeated my truck. Oh, this thing can go up. Alright. Off-road's pretty decently. Can it go up the rocks? Oh! Oh! Almost flipped it over. That was a close call. Ooh, and I just dented the entire side of the cab. I made it out. And then I just crashed again. That's great. Alright. On to the next thing. Rusty Gus's junkyard is a sight to be seen. Certain vehicles have new safety features like rear AEB, normal AEB, but you know, for the rear. Only certain vehicles that have it in real life have it in game, similar to how forward-facing AEB is. Let's try it on this prop car, and try this again. Okay, yeah, there we go. Okay, it detects it there, so it did stop for me. Full speed in reverse. Okay, it actually worked! The second new feature is adaptive cruise control. Normal cruise control, but it'll adapt your car to the person driving in front of you, whatever it takes to keep you going with the flow of traffic. Alright, I'm gonna follow this excursion, and I'll set cruise control now. Let's see, okay, it's slowing down for the excursion, slowing down for the excursion. Let's try it on the X3 this time. 50 miles an hour, slowing down for the excursion. Okay, it's properly slowing down here. Okay, it's slowing down, it's trying to keep distance, Okay, it's slowing down, it's trying to match the speed. Alright, brakes. Oh! I believe it's going to be updated soon, it's going to be better functioning, but for now, this is what we have, and it still works pretty well from a good distance away. Okay, second attempt, this time on a town car. Let's see if Grandpa's going to get out of the way for us. It's 50 miles an hour cruise. Alright, slowing down, hitting the brakes a little bit. Okay, it's cruising. It's going pretty well so far. It's slowing down a little bit. It's kind of tapping the brakes. It's going pretty well this time. Definitely a lot better than the excursion. It actually slowed all the way down. But yeah, that's ACC. That's how it works. Adaptive cruise control. Pretty cool feature. We haven't really had too many new safety features on cars in Greenville for a while, so this is quite welcome. Another new feature for cars is launch control. Only certain cars have this, ones that have in real life. Before, you just have to do a launch by revving it up and turning off traction control and completely sending it. I mean, it worked pretty well, but now there's actually a genuine launch control feature, so it holds the RPMs for you, and it helps with your launch significantly. Press and hold the brake and the accelerator at the same time. Launch control, and launch it. Does a pretty good job. I think this is a pretty appreciated feature. It really helps add realism to the launching your car and everything. And it actually makes your car seemingly faster. Maybe that's just an illusion, but it feels like it actually propels your car because it holds the boost properly. And the final new feature for certain vehicles is a new hybrid system. All hybrids will run on full electric under 70 miles per hour in drive mode. Take this Yukon hybrid for example. If you switch into sport mode, it'll start up the engine. It's kind of weird, like starting it up, there's nothing but the chime. Keep it in drive mode and just start driving it, you hear nothing besides the electric noise. It's pretty unassuming too, since it's literally a Yukon and I doubt anybody owns this thing, the hybrid version. Pop it into sport mode and boom, starts right up. Let's see if it'll do it manually over 70 miles per hour. Alright, switching it back into electric mode. Let's inch over 70 miles per hour. There we go, it starts up. That's the new hybrid system. It's kind of weird to get used to, especially on something like this, which you probably don't usually assume is a hybrid. There's been 2 updated buildings in this update, one of which is, well, right here. It's Hunty's Pizza Palace. This place was first added 2 years ago in the 2020 fall update, and 2 years later, it's gotten a revamp. Take a look. The outside looks fairly the same. The sign was moved though. There's also a sign out front that says new interior remodel to let people know, I guess. The asphalt texture was changed and the color. There's a new sign out front. The side of the building has some new advertising as well. Hunty's Pizza Palace. All the characters on the side of the building. You know, got the Mustang, gotta include that. And the main thing that was changed with it was the interior. It's a completely different layout now. It feels way more open in here. There's new floors, all the seating area, the token machines. The arcade has its own spot. I don't know if the building is any bigger than it was before, but it seriously feels that way. Like before, it did not feel this big. I don't know, maybe it's because there's more space for employees before. I don't really know. The building itself on the outside doesn't appear very much bigger. More seating, and of course you got the stage. The animatronics are back. They were gone for a while because of some issues, but they've returned and they're back functioning better than ever. People can come back here and enjoy the shows once again. Oh, show ended. Well, and then over here you can order your food, of course. It is a pizza place after all. Still got the 3 different pizza choices and the box, but I think the box was updated, was it? It's red now. You got the secret room. This is still here, but it's been moved. Then you got 2 party rooms here. There used to be more party rooms, but I think most people can agree. I'd rather sacrifice the party rooms for a more open feeling over here. Heading on over to the second building, which is just down that way. And that building is Joe's, or well, actually, Gary's Collision and Restoration. The whole thing is brand new, and it looks a lot better when you actually look at it, but from far away, it looks pretty much the same. Same location too, which is where it is in real life. The big changes come on the inside. Up until right now, this has been majorly the same ever since GV3, late GV3, but yeah. The waiting room actually looks a lot better now. Got a TV here. Joe's really stepping up his game, Gary. Auto parts, so there's a lot more in here. Actual magazines too. Okay, this is pretty cool. Old Cars magazine. Gary's really got it going on, man. He's really stepping this place up from what Joe had. Got some fans here too even. Man, there's a lot of fans. It must be like 1 billion degrees inside the shop. It's got the Chevy Racing banner. Oh, and a Ford banner too. Looks like his plants are dying. I think Joe might need to, Gary might need to water his plants there. And this is the real big thing here. The actual workshop area of this place looks so much better. Got the tires stacked up here. Got all the garage doors. Each bay has a lift, and there's even more lifts for whatever else you need to fit. Got a huge American flag. Got another fan. Got another fan. Even the beams on the roof and everything, that huge fan up on the top. Man, it must be literally like 3 billion degrees in here. I'm telling you. They even have water right there? Yeah, I'm seriously, that adds to my theory. I don't know why I find this board so cool. Another fan, of course. A bunch of pictures of cars. Got the Porsche, Grand Wagoneer, and the GNX. I'm assuming these are all offices. Oh, what the heck? Okay. Yep, there's literally a fan in every single room here. On top of this right here, there's just a bunch of boxes. Probably just boxes of fans, to be honest with you. Just backup fans, just in case one of the 80 other fans break. This right here is the paint booth. Probably my favorite thing in the Gary's remodel. It's actually really cool to have this. This is gonna be cool for RPs, like painting your car or whatever, getting it back from the paint. Should be an RP coming soon. Or eventually, at least. The Gary's remodel, I give it a 10 out of 10. This place looks so much better. I didn't even know what to expect. And then you got this huge garage door that leads out the side. That right there is Gary's. Looks like Gary is a much better owner than Joe was. I'm glad we got Gary now, and Joe is gone. Now for MISC updates. There's a lot of them. Really, really good ones. Let me just start off by showing you my favorite one of them all. The fact that limited cars no longer take up space. Yes, they finally did it, and it's like some newfound freedom. They could have always just kept adding extra car spaces, but for some reason it just felt like a temporary fix to me. Limited not taking up space is awesome, and I appreciate it very much. I can buy so many vehicles I otherwise couldn't now. There's an insane amount of new vanity plates. Ever since the plate customization update released over a year ago now, the DMV has been left pretty much dormant aside from a few plate additions over time. Ever since it released, you couldn't get custom plates on trucks either, but now that all changes. The UI and the plate system in general has been revamped. Now 3 separate stages rather than 2. The first step is choosing what state you want to go with. Once you've made up your mind, you can choose between many different designs of that specific state. Some states have less designs than others, but there's tons of new designs. I'm talking over 300, so you have to find something that you like. Here are a couple states loaded with plate designs: Wisconsin, California, Florida, and Texas. Once you select a plate design, you move on to the third stage, choosing your text. This functions as it did before, but you've also got the option of choosing to put the plates on the rear only, or both the front and the rear. You have this choice on all plate designs. Convertible cars with ambient lighting can now have the interior lighting color changed by pressing G. The specs tab in the dealer has returned after being broken and disabled last update. Another fix from the last update is the vehicle menu. When you go to sell a vehicle, the previews of all your other vehicles will load back in without you having to reopen the garage tab. More trees were added in various areas, the farmhouse property included. Makes these areas look a lot better. The more trees, the better. Private server owners have some new commands. 3 commands relating to the new dynamic clouds. The first command is the Weather Sunny command. This command makes the clouds mostly go away and gives the sun a chance to shine. Weather Cloudy makes the clouds come in a bit more and hides the sun quite a bit. And Weather Overcast truly makes the clouds take over the sky and changes the look of the game as well. Great for photos. A bunch of lights come on as well, as if it was nighttime. And the final 2 new commands, which you may have been able to notice throughout the video, are very useful. The first command, Time Freeze. Time frozen, the in-game clock has been paused. No longer do you have to worry about rewinding the time in game. You can quite literally freeze time around you. You can literally just change it to any time you want. You can put it to 12 AM, you can put it to 4 PM, there, boom. Still, frozen. But to unfreeze it, Time Unfreeze. That right there is the last command to bring the time back to its usual routine. Time Unfrozen, the in-game clock has resumed. A bunch of awesome new private server commands. Private server owners, you're probably going to enjoy those. There's a new compass icon to the left where it tells you the time in game. There's new electric charging stations across the map, like these at Cinex for example. Something you may have noticed, the camera for vehicles is a bit different. It now follows the vehicle rather than staying positioned where you last had it. Some people don't like it, but I think it's pretty nice. You can still manually override it with your mouse if you want. Arrow keys were re-enabled for walking for those who want to use that. I genuinely can't remember when the arrow keys were last usable. Was it GV3? And among those are even more smaller changes, but I think those are the more important ones. This also appears to be the first major update ever since Tires Plus was added over a year ago that Tires Plus has not gotten any new rims. Kinda interesting. Of course, now for the vehicles in this update. As usual, there's tons of them, specifically 46 this time around. Right off the bat, there's a 1998 Lincoln Town Car as well as a Town Car Limo. If you want to check out the limo plus the 3 limited cars in this update more in depth, I made a video on them yesterday. Got the 2004 Porsche Boxster, an inexpensive, fairly cool sports car that you can get the base trim of without any game passes. Refresh of the 2005 and 2009 Prius with the new hybrid system. The 07 Camry, man, oh man. A remodel of the Smart Pro 2 with both the 2008, 2015, and limited variants. The 2011 BMW 3 Series complete with the M3 and 2 limited versions. There's also the 2021 BMW 4 Series convertible, M4 convertible, some more Audis, your guys' favorites, of course, the 2023 Toyota GR Corolla, a remodel of the 2020 Chevy Traverse, now with the 2023 as well, and the 2023 Escalade and Escalade V, plus even more. Now, I've been getting this question a lot, so I thought I'd pause and touch on the topic for a second. The new GMT 900s were added, CR 1500, refreshed Silverado 1500, and the Silverado HD, but where's the Sierra HD? It was in my review, it was made, so why isn't it here? Well, there were some issues with it that delayed it a bit, but don't worry, they shouldn't be gone forever, and in the meantime, we've got some other pretty sweet trucks to use instead. Except some of the sounds are broken. I've been working with the devs to try to resolve this, and there's some sort of issue, presumably on Roblox's end. We've been trying. To all of you JDM car fans, this update's got you covered. They added the 1992 and 1999 Lexus SC300 and SC400, a remodel of the 1996 Mark IV Supra, and seemingly everyone's favorite, the R34 Nissan SKYLINE GTR. Take a look at this before and after of the Mark IV Supra. time to take a look at the long-awaited 2002 Nissan Skyline R34 GTR, or at least long-awaited from seemingly a lot of people. This thing is expensive though, so yeah. It starts for the base trim, the standard trim anyway, at $485,259. Thanks to the specs tab returning, let's take a look at them. It's got a top speed of 154 miles per hour. The next trim is the V-Spec N1 for $623,900, slightly more horsepower and 1 less MPG. And then we've got the third trim, the Nismo S-Tune for $851,251. Top speed on this one is 177 miles per hour. And this one has 2 less MPG than that last trim, so just keeps going down while the price keeps going up. And then there's this final trim which I bought. I know, I'm quite a cheapskate. I only paid $549,973 for this review. So, let's check it out. Here's my over $500,000 GTR in all of its midnight purple glory. Many people have been anticipating this car in Greenville, and it's here, but not without all of its complaints from players. It's too expensive this, it's too expensive that, it's not worth the money, whatever. Do you know how many of these were imported in the United States? Not very many, since these aren't even 25 years old yet. They're super expensive in real life, too. I also saw some people saying it should be limited, and it actually was going to be at one point along with the R32. But that was years ago, and that old model never wound up in the game. And also, the R32 was accidentally left on sale. Take a look around it. Pretty iconic car design. And a little detail you might miss if not pointed out is the carbon hood. It's paint matched, so it's pretty subtle. This one has identical specs to the regular V-Spec, by the way. Left-hand drive, of course. Lighting. Debatably the most iconic thing about this car is the taillights. You know, Chevy Impala taillights. High beams. This lights up in the back if you press N. The other light is the reverse light. And here's how it sounds. Honestly, quite nice. I don't know, it's like kind of relaxing to drive just because of the sound alone. And the turbo blow off. Probably the best thing about this car. Just like the Supra, it has some really nice sounds. Both cars, honestly, they're nice to cruise around and I enjoy driving both of them. Do a pretty subtle drive around the dealership in the R34. Next up is the 2005 Ford F-250 Super Duty. Here's all the trims. There's a bunch of them. Here's the beater. It's on the more realistic side of a beater. It's just a rusted out, work truck 6.0. It's got the plastic front end. It's got these headlights which are completely just worn out. This one's falling out even. Bunch of rust spots just everywhere. Bumpers hanging down. The whole frame is just rusted out. It's also got like 20s on it. It's like random replica wheels. These are like Harley Davidson wheels. But probably the best part about this truck is when you start it up. First of all, the sounds. It's got some good 6.0 sounds on here, so it's got smoke coming out the tailpipe and smoke coming out the front of it. Just regular 6.0 things. Now let's see how this thing does in the 0 to 100 braking test. I'm assuming it's not going to go incredibly well. It is a 4-wheel drive, so it has quite the launch. You can see how much you're building boost to, which is pretty helpful now with these gauges. And slam the brakes. Yeah, not the best brakes at all. I don't think I've had a vehicle brake this badly in a while. But it's kind of what I was expecting. That right there is the 6.0 beater. This thing only costs $3,500, which is exactly the money that you get when you first join the game. Be prepared to see a bunch of new players driving this thing. In fact, I was in a public server earlier today and I saw one of these, and I think it was a new player driving it, so prepare to even maybe see it on the top most sold vehicles leaderboard sometime eventually. Now moving on to the 2008 G35 or kind of G37. I mean, I guess it was like the G37 when it got refreshed. You know, it's the G, Infiniti G something. It's the G35 specifically, but yeah, there's a couple trims. Wait. Here it is, right here. It's the G35. All right, G35 is done. Let's see what the window sticker is. This thing costs $9,700. It's not too bad. Can rip donuts, I think. Let's actually test that out. Took the dealer's car out for a spin. Does pretty well. Oh wait, what? They're watching? Here are all the trims. Pretty reasonably priced. Here it is. This is the cheapest model, the Journey rear-wheel drive that I got. Still quite the nice car. They all have the same horsepower and specs and whatnot. It's just the variations between the transmissions and the drivetrain and whatever. But just a typical G37. Pretty nice looking car for the money. Let's hear how this thing sounds. Lighting. And being a typical G37 driver, you're gonna need this, so here's the horn. I can verify even the auto trims can in fact rip some burnouts, some pretty good ones. Pretty darn good braking, and you'll definitely need that. Oh, and the car's driving away on its own. Let's just walk along with it. Oh, it's starting to go faster. It's trying to go to the nearest takeover. I don't know. It's got a mind of its own. Speaking of takeovers, I took this thing to a takeover, so you'll see that sometime soon, I think. There it goes. I'm just gonna let it drive off in the sunset. Bye. What? It's literally going the other direction. How did it go the other direction? What? I looked away for like a little while. Now it's wanted to come back, I guess. Fine, I'll drive it to the nearest takeover. Next up is the 2023 3rd Gen Ford Raptor. They finally put the V8 back in the Raptor, and that's incorporated to Greenville. You can also get a V6 though, which is the one I got because, I don't know, I guess I'm lame like that. Here are the specs for the V6s. And here are the specs for the V8s. Here this behemoth is. I got the V6 37 pack, aka really like the main one that actually exists in real life. 37 pack graphics on the side. It says Beast, which is the Raptor name in game. Huge skid plate up front. Here's the suspension. I haven't actually heard like the full V6 Raptor sounds. I made the startup in the idle, but everybody's been driving the V8. This is my first time actually checking out the V6 one. Sounds pretty good. Wow, okay, I don't regret my purchase of the V6 Raptor. The 10-speed really makes this truck enjoyable to drive. And you know what makes this thing incredibly cool? The suspension. You know how I talked about the Tundra being the new best off-roader in game? Well, forget the Tundra. This thing is like the Tundra turned up to like 8 million, like it's the Tundra, but 20 million, billion, trillion times better. Like, take a look at what this thing can do on the back roads. It's like you're driving a cloud. It goes over everything. Alright, after some severe testing, we have determined that this thing can indeed off-road. So, let's see how this thing moves. It's no V8 trim, but it's underappreciated, I think. Like, this thing is still super duper good, and it is not very slow whatsoever. And that 10 speed. And let's hit the brakes now. Not too incredibly bad. That right there is the V6 3rd Gen Ford Raptor. Quite the truck. I like this thing more than I expected to, honestly. And the final car, the 2023 Mercedes SL. There's a normal one that'll cost you a pretty penny, and the Maybach one, which will cost you even more. Here are all the trims. Here's the specs on the 55 trim. Here it is. I got the 55 trim. I originally wasn't going to review this thing, but Hunter recommended it because apparently Cade spent 2 months on this thing and it is detailed. The amount of time he spent perfecting it shows. Just look at all the detail in the exterior alone. Hopping in the car, hear the sounds. Very aggressive, yet still refined. So many pops. And as you probably noticed, it's a convertible. All SLs are. This thing replaced the AMG GT Roadster in Mercedes' lineup. Honestly, I still prefer the AMG GT, but the SL has grown on me a bit. Open the convertible top up and it reveals an insanely detailed interior. So many little details in here. Of course, press G to cycle through the interior lighting patterns. Speaking of lighting, another detail of this car that you can tell a lot of time is spent on is the exterior lighting. Turn on the lights and it does a nice little sequence. Okay, now for the 0 to 100 in braking test. Gonna be utilizing the new launch control system for this. Let's see how it does. Just such a nice speed. It just cruises along. Got that active arrow as well. Great brakes. It doesn't even really slip either. Like, look at that. There's barely any tire marks back here, and that was instant braking as well. You can just tell the amount of effort that was put into this thing. It's super nice to drive. It's a really nice cruiser even. I got the 55 trim, so it's not insanely fast like the 63s. I'd assume, at least. Be nice to cruise around in. It's probably what I'll use it for. Truthfully, this has got to be one of my favorite updates in a long while. It was so good. There's just a mix of everything. It's just about perfect, to me. A new, awesome area, perfect for photo shoots and role-playing. The fall color palette, a super nice variety of new cars, many of them that I didn't think I'd enjoy as much as I do, some smaller but very, very nice changes, and overall a new feel to the game with everything combined. Something that I think was needed and very welcome change. I don't really know if many other people feel this way, but GV3 really changed a lot throughout its lifespan. Like, there were a lot of changes that affected the general atmosphere of the game, even though there weren't really that many massive changes overall, especially not compared to the revamp. The revamp stayed majorly consistent with how it looked, just a bunch of stuff added, which is great, but a change like what we just got is super nice to have. There was also a place added to the game called Rusty Gus's, so there's that. Yep, there you have it. That's all I've got to say for today. Thank you for watching this far. See ya.